Okay. Question 5. On question 5 here, we're then going to go through and continue to talk about finding midpoints. Finding midpoints that could be, again, both negative, could be fractional, could be a nice decimal. All right. So we have ourselves a number line. And from here, we want to find the length of dj. So as we've been doing with this, we need to go about taking the midpoint, all right, or taking the average of the midpoint here. So for dj, watch your signs. We're going to do negative 75 plus a negative 20, because averages add them up, divide by however many there are, which in this case is 2. And the midpoint is at negative 47.5, okay? So again, midpoints can be negative because it's a location. Locations can be positive and negative. For dj, oh, sorry, I misspoke. Now I read that as the midpoint. That actually says what is the length of dj. So I made a mistake there. That answer I just found is for letter B. That asks for the midpoint, negative 47.5. Part A says what's the length of dj. So what is the length from D to J? Now length has to be positive. It can never be negative. So you can't have negative 5 feet. Think back to when we started doing Pythagorean theorem. Length cannot be negative for a side of a triangle or anything. Midpoint is a location. Locations can be negative. So for the length of dj, how far is it from negative 75 to negative 20, or vice versa? How far is it from negative 20 to 75? It is 55 units, okay? The length of JA, now this is one where you got to watch out for, from negative 20 to 60. If it's helpful, put in 0 there. 0 helps you kind of separate the positives and negatives out. From negative 20 to 0, we're 20 units. From 0 to 60, we're 60 units. So from negative 20 to 60, that's a length of 80 units. I could see somebody not paying attention and quickly saying 40. No, that's not the case, okay? From J to A, that's a length of 80. Now the midpoint, add them up. Divide by 2. And the midpoint is at a location of 20 on the number line. The length of DA, length, from D to A, negative 75 to 60. That is a difference of 135 units. Okay. Now, how are the lengths of DJ, JA, and DA related? So DJ, JA, and DA related. What we're trying to look for here is for you guys to see that if I add together the 55 plus the 80, that adds up to 135 units, okay? So that's going to lead me into my next example in just a few minutes, that the length of DJ plus the length of JA, those are two smaller segments that are adding together to give you a larger segment of DA. And that's, like I said, going to lead me into examples 6 and 8 here, or really example 6 in a minute, something we call segment addition.